the Chinese government broadcast an announcement. All people in the square should leave now. Knowing that many had already died throughout the city and that the soldiers would use deadly force, one of the student leaders negotiated with the army commander for permission to leave. Permission was granted. A voice vote was held among the students gathered round the memorial to the martyrs. They were asked to decide, should they leave or should they stay? Those shouting to stay were much louder than those shouting to leave, so how many stayed is unknown. Of those who left, they joined hands, sang the International, the Chinese national anthem, and cried, chanted, shouted insults at the soldiers who had opened up a corridor allowing safe passage. What happened to those who stayed is in dispute. Video shows hundreds of students who may have elected to stay behind, facing columns of soldiers and tanks. It has been claimed that hundreds died or were crushed by tanks as they defended Tiananmen Square.
因为有一些同学，他们对这个政府、对这支军队还抱有希望，他们以为。 顶多是军队把大家强行的架走，可已经把他们碾成了肉饼。
At Tiananmen Square, soldiers had bulldozed everything together in a huge heap. Bodies, shoes, tents, banners, and set fire to it, creating a huge column of flame and smoke. Most of the students decided to leave and joined hands and proceeded in an orderly manner between rows of troops whose commanders agreed to let the students leave unharmed. Those students who had joined hands continued between the two lines of troops, singing the Internationale, only to discover their way blocked by rows of approaching tanks, which began to shoot and run over bodies. At the same time, the soldiers behind them also began to shoot. Blood filled the streets, blood and human pulp. How many were killed will never be known. Hospitals could only give accounts of the wounded and those who had died in their care. Most of the dead still lay where they had fallen. Bodies were also fast disappearing. Platoons of soldiers had been seen picking up bodies and putting them in the buses, which were then carted away and disposed of. There were claims that many of those disposed of were still alive but badly wounded. Those killed included university professors, students, technical people, officials, workers, owners of small businesses, retired workers, high school students,